So
Apologies.
and I've been doing it since 2017. I was a human rights lawyer in Washington, D.C. Didn't really expect, didn't really plan this. This wasn't like, this is a curveball. I fell in love with the mountains. And in short, I followed that love. And I always thought to myself, as a lawyer, I don't have anything against the profession. I thought it was an amazing journey for me, but I decided I wanted to leave Washington, D.C., not because I hated it or because it was negative, but because something is pulling me closer to something that I'm happy about. And I'm happy to kind of say that that was the journey, but it's kind of like I'm simplifying it, but it's more complex than that. So um, that could be a long conversation, but in a nutshell, that was how I ended up leaving the country. Oh, completely left everything, minimized, got rid of my house, got rid of my career, got rid of my friends. Well, they're still my friends, but I don't see them anymore that much, but they're still my community online now. At first it was really about just following the hiking and being in the mountains and trying to, like, you know, enjoy, because it was a very tough profession and I was exhausted. And so, but I think along the way, I think what I learned about solo journey is that it cannot just be always one way. If you're gonna do it for a short period of time, when you do like vacations and like a sabbatical even, it's more about you, it's more about what you want out of it. It's very much that direction. But I've been doing it for like 8 years and counting. And at some point, you realize it doesn't mean much until there is an equal exchange of some sort with the places that you visit. And I think that's what transformed me from a kind of, I don't know, they always say, oh, tourist to like a traveler. What, I don't know what the semantics is, but I think my sense of responsibility just shifted. In the beginning, it was all about like me. I want to cross the bucket list. And I did. And I have to admit I did. But at the like when you continue to do this, you realize, and the reason why that happens for me is that it's in the work form. This is actually my first travel as being an immigrant, and I will never deny that, because I don't want to separate that from the travel experience, because it informed me as a traveler. While immigration is sort of like a contentious issue in the US, it actually is a very personal journey that mattered to me as a nomad. And so if I wasn't an immigrant, I wouldn't be as focused on justice and focused on impact. It actually is who I am. And I guess what I love about this journey is I finally got rid of that shame and the stigma of being an immigrant. And that was like my superpower, because I flipped the script and I told myself, I understand when I talk to the porters and the guides in Africa or Asia, in Nepal, what they're telling me, because I understand the colonial mentality, I understand the oppression and the system. So that's how deep it is for me in terms of travel, how it kind of got to me to my core. And it takes a long time. It's a process. It was a very superficial sort of like, I want to just be a typical like traveler, to one that's like, I need to go into a community and know that I'm always welcome. And I think that's one thing I would always tell people. If you want authenticity and real connection, make sure you're invited. There's always a permission. And in a way, I realized in the past, I didn't ask for permission or I forced things. But I think we need to pay attention to whether are we even welcome? Did they invite us? Because when you're invited, it's a whole different experience than sort of forcing yourself. And I guess the big example of forcing yourself is over tourism. The places that are oversaturated, maybe those are the times we have to question. Maybe we'll go another time when it's low season, for example, right? You can kind of feel that, where it's like you pick up on the fact that if we are welcomed by the land or the people, and just the whole feeling, it's a feeling. It becomes a bit more meaningful of an experience. Um, I'm not sure what the question is now, but I guess I'm just sharing from my experience. And then obviously I do have a lot of projects. Like I think Monica's going to talk about it. I work with guides and porters. I advocate for workforce equity in the industry because I'm a human rights lawyer. So it kind of comes hand in hand. And I think the only way I could do this is to do grassroots and be with them. I always think to myself that when I do this work and I do any advocacy, I have to meet the people on their terms where they are with gender equity, where they are with workforce equity. I've been in places where they're not ready for. I listen more than talk about ideas coming from me, and I want to know if they're ready, and if they're not ready to lead with me or to take the lead even behind, in front of me, I don't. So I think it's a nice philosophy when it comes to like just places where you're creating initiatives or you're traveling, that you kind of have to take sort of some clue from the people around you in the community, because they would appreciate that more, because they're not just being seen as subjects or kind of like a bucket list. You're humanizing them, right? So I mean, I could go on and on about things I've learned living with the Quechua community in Peru and the Kazakh community. They were like my neighbors, and the conversations we had, because being Filipina came with a very honest conversation with them, because they understand coloniality like I do.
Yeah.
And I get very, very deep conversations, and that's something I haven't really shared with the world, because it's also hard to share that, because not a lot of people want to hear that coloniality still exists. And I think it does. I live it. I still do, and I feel it. I cry over it, losing my roots in Manila, So it is part of me. So
And makes me
but
wanna
there's
cry.
just so
It
much
is
to learn.
important.
Huh? Yeah, and it's so much. That's one thing that I learned. It's your identity, that you can actually really get into it if you're open to it when it
Yeah.
comes to solo travel. So
And
yeah.
this is what we want to inspire and put forward more, like how to be real and hear real stories, and how to encounter people where they are and how they want to, and how to change um this emphasis of tourists serving travelers to serving what it should be serving, what it depends on, which is the local community. At the end of the day, it's their home, and this is very important shift that still somehow I think it's happening, but not well enough. And we need to hear these honest conversations. We all have hearts. We all will understand with maybe more of an understanding intellectually. We can feel that pain, and we need to know about it. That's why also I believe your voice is so important in well, talking about tourism in general. Marinel, thank you for this. I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about your the initiatives that you've been working on lately with female mountain guides in Nepal, as well as the nomadic camps in Mongolia. I think people would love to
Yes.
more.
Yeah, I mean, so the Mongolia one is the nomadic culture camp for 30 days. Um, can you hear me okay still?
Marinel, it was breaking a little bit. I couldn't hear what you said.
Can you hear?
Yes, I
Hello?
think
Can you hear me
yes,
now?
I think yes,
Okay,
I think it's
sorry.
better. Don't
I might
worry.
just turn off the video for now. Yeah, the camp is a 30-day nomadic culture camp with the Eagle Hunters. It's teaching English while immersing a cultural exchange, but it's by invitation. We want to select the people, and it has to be an invite, not just like you pay the money and you go. We actually have like a process. So we want to change the system, the way like we get tourists to come to communities, especially if it's remote and mountain and indigenous. So that's what's special about it. It's only 8 people, and they teach English, but it's also to open their opportunity to become ambassadors and storytellers in their own way, like without middle person,
Mhm.
so they can be the direct storytellers of the community. So it's a special project that started 2021. We won some awards for it. It's been going still, despite all the work and
Wow.
hard work. It's now the
Mhm.
4th year coming up in 2026. We've had so many teachers, and it's been an amazing project. It has a life of its own. So I go there every year for 3 months to run this project, but it's only a 30-day program, so you can check out the website about that. The other new one is actually the Himalayan Women Trail Leaders. I walked the Himalayas with a Sherpa woman for over 4 months last year, from Kanchenjunga to Annapurna, doing 7 routes, just the two of us.
Wow.
And um, that was like a very powerful experience personally, but also I realized how much they face adversity as a woman guide, kind of questioning their abilities as well as mine actually. And then so we decided we're going to create a program where we're going to elevate female guides and give them training, and then we're going to partner with clients and hikers from tourists to like go on these treks led by women. And we don't want to just do the commercial Everest base camp stuff. We want to do like the entire 1700 kilometer. Like it should be open to women, no matter which route you want, that it should be okay for you to do with a women guide. And the problem is that we're solving is when I first started this, I couldn't get a female guide. They told me it's not available. It's never going to happen. So it was
Mhm.
actually my dream to walk this track with a woman. And if it was a man, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
And I did. And so, but it was very hard. So we want to basically create a new norm where women will now say, I'm going to go do the Great Himalayan Trail and not feel like there's going to be a barrier like I had. And
yeah,
so we're opening the path. This is just the beginning. And then we want to like encourage women to like go out to Nepal and do the highest routes without feeling like they can't do it because there's no female guide.
sure.
And there are. It's just a matter of encouraging them, realizing that they can do this because the industry doesn't support it. Not yet. So we invite you, if you want to join, you can take out the website. We have a fundraiser now for our guide program. In December, it's happening, and we have the Port of Voice Collective is hosting it, which is a 501(c)(3) organization. And yeah, so if you want to trek with us, you go to Equity Global Treks as well. We do have treks with the female guides, but also I have treks all over like Peru and Kilimanjaro. So
I love
everything I do has to do with the mountains. So yeah.
Marinel, thank you for that. Awesome. And all the links are included in this deck that's going to be shared with everybody who registered, absent or present here today. And so, including the fundraiser as well, and the treks and everything. I wanted to ask you, are men also invited for these treks?
Yes, we have women-led, woman-only tour tracks, but we open it to customize like private. If men want to go do a
Okay.
track, we can also organize that. And
Great.
the camp is open to everyone. But this one, we wanted to like, have this like platform to open it up to women. But then again, men have also joined and we can organize a date for them to come. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you. It's such an important work, and I'm really grateful for you to be here and share a little bit more about it. Marinel, if you want to jump off, I know it's well after midnight your time, so feel free to do that. We're so grateful to have you here. There's some details how to connect with you via your website and Instagram and all the other links at the end of this presentation. So we're going to have a chance to connect. I also put your email there, and I will encourage you to follow Marinel's work in the space. You can really educate yourself on what really matters to local people who are in a focus and epicenter of the tourism activity, especially in such vulnerable regions as Nepal and other places, Mongolia and Africa, that Marinel has been present. Fascinating women and fascinating work. And please follow Marinel's journey. I'm gonna make sure to also type in some details in the follow-up email so that it's easy for you to connect. Marinel, as I said, if you need to go, I will totally understand that. And if not, you're welcome to stay with us here. I also attached a video which won some awards about a nomadic camp in Mongolia for you all guys to and girls to watch at your leisure. It's a wonderful video. So it's going to be there when I share the presentation. And yes, another question too. I'm aware of the time, so I'm going to run through some slides a little bit faster than I would like to. But another thing to contemplate, especially now after having listened to wonderful speech of Marinel's, how to be a guest that benefits the destination. Like this is something, if anybody wants to share in a follow-up email, or maybe even contact Marinel and have her like give us some insights on that, that would be appreciated. And another thing, as I mentioned, stage 4 of this whole program is about building resilience for challenge. In Japanese call it gaman, endurance with dignity, and it's also intertwined into the way we approach solo travel. So instead of just like waiting for the right time or saying I'm scared, I will start when I'm ready, or stuff, it's not how we want to approach it. Like the only time we can do things is now, and it's right through that discomfort, it's right through that fear. It's just takes booking a trip with the female guides and Marinel, for example, in Nepal. It's just like, even if I'm scared, just if I want to do it, just I'm doing it now, because I know the only way for my real change in life is through discomfort. And here it's some very shortly research by my good friend, the Professor Brad McLean, who is also on the board of Jane Goodall, that just passed away, board, and he designed experiences for NASA, and he dedicated his whole career to the phenomenon of change. And he believes that it's not possible for any identity impact that's there to last if it's not initiated by a discomfort experience on a hike, on a long haul travel, followed by a narrative translation of that experience. So we invite challenge, we invite discomfort. I'm gonna miss this one. But yeah, another point for reflection. How can I invite more challenge when I travel solo? How can I do that and have that courage and guts to do that? And here we don't have enough time, but as I said, I will share that deck with you. We also get source a lot of inspiration from the Joseph Campbell's work about the monomyth, about how some of the biggest stories in the world, like Lords of the Ring or Jesus' journey, basically follow the same, very similar pattern of following these steps between ordinary and unknown world. And it's all about having a call to adventure, meeting the mentor, crossing the threshold, being tested, going through the wintering, through the death and rebirth, and coming back and inspiring others and initiating that journey that never really finishes once we travel solo with that courage and discomfort and openness. And I have here a wonderful trailer to a documentary called what's called Finding Joe. It's all about the Joseph Campbell's writing and theories, and I will share it with you, and I really encourage you to watch it. It's just a few minutes. It basically wraps up what we just shared about challenge, discomfort, and going somewhere with an open mind, even when we are scared. And just lastly, the 4 element or stage of a solo travel experience, which is oftentimes overlooked, is the integration part. It's how we can repeatedly take constructive action based on this purpose that we've been discovering throughout that journey. Expressing gratitude, having this outward attention to the world around us, to these amazing things we are provided with or we are grateful for that others do to us that benefit us. Like, we train our minds and bodies to pay attention to different things instead of our thoughts and feelings and whys on childhood and this and that. We try to be in the present and really take action that brings us closer to our purpose every day with a lot of resilience. And how we do that, we have a lot of tools for that as well. I'm fully aware that it's well over time, so if anybody needs to jump up, we will totally understand. Just some examples here of what we do in the program. We basically examine our personal ecosystem mapping, our relationships to our hobbies, to our bosses, to stress levels we have, to time in nature, and we basically make some decisions based on what we come up with. So this is what we're doing. Some of this is example of the tools we engage in the week 4 of our solo travel experiences. And not the tool, it's not ours. It's a fantastic 12-week year framework for setting goals, very precise, very detailed. I also invite, if any of you who struggle sometimes with meeting your objectives and following through, this might be a good tool for you. It surely was for us. This book, very approachable, short. It's a Japanese psychology mindset in a nutshell, which is very approachable and easily applicable to life. And if I were to just recommend one position on this subject, it would be a David Key Reynolds constructive living book. Fully recommended. It's just hard not to read it in one day. Just like to give you an example of how can we integrate. It's such a big word. Like, how can we integrate what we've learned after solo travel when we need to go to work and to the life as usual? Well, we hope it's not life as usual after all the things we learn and try and discomfort we engage in. We really hope it's different. And we want this to last. So one of the things we do is we encourage people to, for example, and when they are back, engage in interactions with people they don't know at least once a day. Give compliments or simply engage smiles. Take your parents for a surprise trip. Tell them only what to pack. Volunteer once a month. Be of service. Sign up for some new course. Maybe this Alpine school you always wanted to do, or flamenco dancing. Just like create a to-go list of places within your home base, your city maybe, and be a tourist in your home. Sign up for some walking city tour, even though you feel like you know your home as a back of your pocket. You probably don't, and you can still be amazed, astonished, and surprised. And this is what we want to continue with after we are back. So just to wrap up, how can we get the most out of it from our solo travel experiences? Of course, this is not like there's so much more to it than just this. But as I said, there's so much that has been already said about how we can pack for success, or where we should go to also to avoid crowds, but also support local communities on their terms. Those are all valid questions. But here in our approach, we focus more on how we can, as this quote about paradise by Pico Iyer at the beginning, the paradise is the way of being and seeing in the world. And this is where we focus on this attitude and action-driven element. So how can we get the most out of it? Maybe when we travel solo again, or maybe when we go on a walk right after this call, if we have a privilege to do that. So we want to surrender. We want to accept the things we cannot control, be present, and for example, let others choose your dish. Try to start with such simple things like this. It's hard when we go to a restaurant and somebody else is choosing a dish for us, and we have no right to say our preference. We start with things like this. It can be just silly as this, but it really helps. It shows us how difficult it is for us to surrender. It really is. Another thing, pay more outward attention. Unplug. Delete apps from your device. You don't need them. You are happy without them. Look for shapes or blues. Sit still for 30 minutes and listen deeply. It's so silly and easy, but it works. It's so surprising when we do that. Let's be more mindful. Just slow down. Express gratitude, even though we think it feels weird to be grateful for things that they do to us. Just say it. It's gonna make everybody feel better and more welcome and accepted. Keep a paper journal, Asha, as you've been saying. And also answer the question of more often: what have I given to others that benefited them objectively? Know your purpose. Is a hard one. I know it's a big one, but we can get there. And also it can change over time. And take constructive action towards it. Very important. Instead of taking action based on our thoughts and feelings that have been proved to be just not controllable at all. And let's be less self-focused. Yes, it's not about just examining why something happened to us or our childhood, or even, engaging in meditation and yoga is not enough. I mean, the yoga is a lifestyle, and as long as it's a lifestyle, it's perfect. But 1 weekend retreat is not going to change our life at all, because we're still super self-focused. It's all about going out and hanging out with locals and people around us and learn about their destination through their lenses. Focus on others and practice no me talk for a while. It's very surprising what can come up then. And lastly, so accordingly to some research in behavioral economics, what people want to get the most out of their solo travel. And apparently, nearly 1/3 of the people wanted to. So what factors were essential to them when making some meaningful changes in their life? And they said that taking small steps was incredibly important for them in the success of their goals. And this is what we see, what we call in Japanese, the approach called Kaizen. Another important thing was setting goals that work with your life and developing new routines and habits. Some of these things we covered today slightly or in some way. Setting goals that matter to me and accepting ups and downs as part of a process. And when I was studying these results for a purpose of my other work in transformational tourism, I was surprised because they all had equivalent in Japanese psychology, as you can see on the right, which is pretty fantastic. And I feel like Japanese psychology is such an approachable source of tools to how to incorporate and integrate our experiences. And solo travel, it might be oftentimes seen as a destination choice, a hotel, activities, maybe the language barrier, or like some, I don't know, tickets or currency issues. But it's very oftentimes a missed opportunity for an ability and skill, gaining a skill how to rest, a missed opportunity for discovering our purpose, learning how to act constructively, how to have this positive impact, because it is one of the most important contributors to our happiness when we contribute. And the science and the research is all on our side. And oftentimes we just still focus on ourselves only. And that's not the way to go. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional because I truly believe in that. So a solo travel, as Marinel said, and everybody else, it's a privilege, it's a choice, and it's a responsibility, and it's opportunity for all these things we mentioned before: more equal world, contribution, personal growth, self-reflection, self-help, new habits, a chance for sustainable change, a deeply personal meaning, and so forth and so on. And here's the quote from managers from a steward of one of the most progressive tourist destinations in Belgium, who engaged. He was one of the first one to engage in regenerative tourism and to help it flourish and take place. Basically, for those who are unfamiliar with what it is, it's not only using nature, treating nature as a decision maker at the destination, but also including all the stakeholders, all the people involved into the conversation, and having them speak and make decisions together based on oftentimes very difficult conversations about what the destination is for them and how they want to showcase it and how they want to even welcome travelers. So beautiful approach that ties very deeply and nicely into what we talked today. And he said, I have hope, since every journey brings more tolerance and opens our minds to the rest of the world, so that we know and recognize others and have a better understanding of what's really precious. It's pretty beautiful. So I'm gonna maybe leave that part, but how we can take action today, there's a lot of things that you can find out in a deck when I'm gonna share it with you, but there's also an opportunity to contact Marinel and learn more about how to travel and trek ethically. How can you, maybe you or your friends can join the 2026 Nepal Tours Guided by Women, and how we can travel more equitably as a traveler. Also, Marina has all these resources and so much more on her website. And also the amazing nomadic camp in Mongolia. For those of you who have the 30 days off, I think it could be an amazing way to spend your sabbatical if you plan one, or just really do something very meaningful with purpose and positive impact. Also, our blog has a lot of resources that I would like you to recommend you to check. And this is how we can contact Marinel. Her email address, the Instagram, there's a QR code. I'm going to share this presentation with you, as I said, so don't worry about scanning anything now. And the website as well, and her logo of one of her projects. This is also how you can donate to the Himalayan Women Trail Leaders Initiative. That's aiming at creating gender equity in tourism, something very, very, very important for us as well at Empowered Travel. This is how you can contact us as well. And lastly, I promise, that's the last quote. If our journey transforms ourselves only, we will have missed the true power of travel. The transformation must extend to the people, places, and cultures we travel to. Without this, the journey becomes a selfish pursuit. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for those of you who shared and who stayed, and those who were not able to, but join us as well. I loved having you very much, and I so appreciate that you spent almost 90 minutes with us. And thank you. It means a lot to me that you're here. And I hope you know that. And we are here if you have any questions about anything really that has been discussed or not. Thank you very much for being here. I wish you a wonderful day and wonderful solo travels that I hope are gonna really impact how you live and make it all more purposeful. Thank you. And we are here for you if you need anything at any point. Have a lovely, lovely day. If anybody has any questions, I can stay for a little bit more. If not, please have a wonderful day and all the best.
Thank you, Monica, for doing this.
Thank you for being here, Asa. I'm really grateful that you reached out.
Okay, hear you later. Bye.
Yes, we do. Have a lovely evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy Madeira.
Thanks.